The following podcast you're about to listen to is brought to you by the Push Start Media Network, where everything you do in life begins with pushing start. Gentlemen, welcome back to another edition Sports Your Enthusiasm Sports Podcast. I am your humble host, Bryce Benjamin, along with the co-host of the year, Mr. Ed Rueter.
I just can't believe that somebody hasn't come and scooped up that title from me yet, to be honest with you. I'm very excited that I haven't lost it yet, to be honest with you. I mean, that's tough week after week, man. I'm not going to lie.
I would imagine, man. What's the preparation factor, knowing that you got to defend that title week in and week out?
Well, there's a lot of pressure. I got to thank you, of course. Without a humble host, there's certainly no co-host, let alone co-host of the year awards. So I really owe it all to you, my man. So that's why I give all the praise and glory right there.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. Yo, week 5 in the books, NFL. We kind of know now, man. I mean, week 4 weeks in, we kind of know what teams are the contenders. Another week into the books, and kind of just strengthens those thought processes. And man, tough injuries. Man, shout out to Dak. That was a tough one to watch. Some surprising moves. Coach got fired. Players got cut. Man, we in the thick of it, baby.
Yeah, man. Back half of the first half.
Back half of the first half, man. And yeah, man, where do you want to start? Like it's like a lot of shit that's been going on this past week. Like literally yesterday, Le'Veon Bell got cut by the Jets after they lost their 5th game in a row.
Yeah, let's start there. I mean, you teed it up pretty well for us. So let's start right there. You know, you talked about some coaches getting fired. You talked about Le'Veon. Let's start with the Le'Veon situation. What's your take on that?
So like from the reports I was reading and like just the different Twitter quotes and reporter quotes and, you know, no player is bigger than the team is what I kept consistently hearing. So like, I'm like, what is Gase trying to make this guy the scapegoat? Like, is that what we're doing right now? Is Le'Veon Bell's fault since he signed with the Jets? That's the reason why I've been so shitty. Okay. All right.
No guy's bigger than the team at 0-5. That's a really tough statement to make. It's a little different story. If you're 4-1 and somebody's causing problems, nobody's bigger than the team. You let a guy go. I can see it at 0-5. I mean, it's kind of take what you can get at that point, right?
No bigger than a team cut is what the Baltimore Ravens did with Earl Thomas. That's a no bigger than a team. I don't give a fuck who you is. You're not bigger than this team. When you're 0-5, yeah, he's kind of bigger than the team.
That news at that point is bigger than the team. You're exactly right. I think that's a classic Adam Gase move right there. I don't understand anything that guy has done in the last 6 or 7 years, to be honest with you. So what a mess out of New Jersey there. Our New Jersey Jets got smoked by an Arizona team that was just kind of up and down this year, especially the last couple of weeks. They started off 2-0. And then they lost a couple there. So they've been blown out by everybody. The Jets they're not competitive at all.
They have yet to cover a spread, bro. Like they're automatic bet against and beat the odds. They're automatic bet against. Like any team that's playing against the Jets, that team is going to cover whatever the score is. Like that is ridiculously bad.
Well, just a little sneak preview for all of our listeners out there. Miami is right now sitting as 9.5-point favorites over the Jets.
Unbelievable.
And as scary as that proposition is, I took them in my survivor pool. I took Miami this week, so it was ugly out there. There's a lot of good teams on bye, and I've already used up quite a few good teams, so I had to take Miami over the Jets. I'm a little nervous, but I have to figure.
You have literally nothing to be nervous about. Like literally.
You certainly made me feel better that they haven't even covered a spread yet, let alone
not
won
even
a game,
one, bro. and Joe Flacco's starting again. And, Joe, that's my guy. But there's a reason why he's a backup in New York, in New Jersey. There's a reason for that. Brashad Perryman is like, oh, he might play. Like, there's a reason why he's a first-round bust for the Baltimore Ravens. Like, come on, man. This Jets team is a fucking joke. Yeah. This franchise is ridiculous. Their head coach is trash. I don't know what the GM is doing. I don't know what the owner is thinking. Let me run the team. I could do a better job than this. I've played Madden. I build successful franchises. Come on.
So there you go. We're playing GM here. What do you think of Sam Darnold? Do you think any of this lies on Sam Darnold? Or do you think it's just such a chaotic mess around him that he could still find success somewhere, but he's just not going to there? Or do you think they could find success there? Or what's your take on Darnold?
He's a USC quarterback, man. They just don't pan out, man. I'm sorry. I'm not a USC quarterback guy. I've seen too many of them. I've seen Matt Leinart. Carson Palmer was the best one. He was above average at best. John David Booty, Mark Sanchez, like they all are not good. Sam Darnold is just another. And don't get me wrong, man. What the Jets have done to this kid and this franchise, this organization has done to this kid, it sucks. I get it. But he never, even when the draft process was going on, he was probably the least impressive quarterback out of all the top five. Like, there's something I can hang my hat on with like all those first round picks, maybe besides Josh Rosen. But Josh Allen, crazy arm, athletic. Lamar Jackson, we've seen what he did in college. Even Baker Mayfield, man. Baker won a fucking Heisman. Like Sam Darnold, I've never seen anything that was like, oh, wow, I got to have that kid. So it sucks that his career is going down like this with this franchise. But I never thought he was going to be the answer, period. Like, I never seen it from him at all. So that's my take on him.
There are a lot of pundits out there that say he's a very good quarterback. And even without him, they're, as hard as it is to believe, miles and miles worse even than what they are now. Like when he didn't play last year due to having, what was it, mono?
Yeah.
He's got to stop making out with those Jersey girls is what happened there. And he caught that mono. But
the Jersey Shore, baby.
Yeah. He's
hanging out with
stay out of there.
Jay Wow.
Yeah, man.
I was addicted to that show for a while too. That's crazy.
I believe it. Okay, so we started there with the Le'Veon news. Now we're on to the coach firing that you alluded to. So what's going on there? Tell our listeners what's happening with the coach firing.
Yeah, man. The Atlanta Falcons finally decided to move on from Dan Quinn and also their GM. Was their GM Dimitroff?
Dimitroff, yeah.
Yeah, so they decided to go ahead and cut ways with the pairing there. And feels like this move is a season too late. Ever since Atlanta blew the 28-3 league in the Super Bowl to the Patriots, it's just been kind of downhill from there. Didn't seem like Dan Quinn had the locker room anymore. Like, players didn't play for him no more. You're a defensive coach and your defenses have been fucking atrocious. And Matt Ryan getting old. His age is starting to show. He's starting to lose it. Julio Jones can't stay healthy. Yeah, the writing was on the wall, man. They should have probably fired him last year. I mean, he won a couple of games towards the end of the year to give the fan base hope and save his job. But, what did that really do? It pretty much took you guys out of a sweepstakes to get one of these elite defensive players that got drafted in the top 10 of the draft. So, yeah, I think Atlanta moving forward will be better off, depending on how they handle their GM and then their head coaching hire. So we'll see moving forward what they can do. But right now, man, they're pretty much in tank mode, right? Like, you think they're tanking for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields or the kid from North Dakota State?
I think for sure it's Lawrence, if anybody. It's hard to say that teams are in tank mode because obviously the players want to win. But if there's ever a team that could turn things around quickly, there's a lot of talent on that Atlanta roster. And the crazy thing is they're losing despite the usual markers of a win, right? Like, they had Todd Gurley go in for 121 yards last week against Carolina, and they still lost. That's usually a hallmark when Gurley gets up over 100 and finds the end zone. That's usually been a W for his teams in the past, and Atlanta just couldn't find a way to get it done. But with that being said, they have a great offense there, and I think Trevor Lawrence, if that's the way that this pans out, could could really be a difference maker there with a good young cast around him. But what I think they need to do, if it all pans out, we go 1-15 here in Atlanta and they end up with Lawrence, I think that you have to go all defense after that, because that defense is just really bad in Atlanta. I don't think coaching was the whole story there. I think that roster had a lot of deficiencies on defense, and just about every team they've played against has been able to exploit that to one degree or another. So
yeah,
I think that's the story out of Carolina.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Excuse me. This one was in Atlanta. Sorry. I had to reverse there for a second. I thought the game was in Carolina, but there's just not a lot of hope on the horizon for Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. Yeah, that's tough. But hey, I mean, you're 0-5. I really got no positive words.
Yeah,
I usually got something positive to say, like, hey, you can look forward to this, or hey, at least you got this.
It's funny. That's what was giving me pause there too. Usually, I try to put some kind of a spin on it. I tried. They do have a good young cast. I really like Calvin Ridley, but yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. That defense is really bad, and we'll see what they do with coaching from this point on out, and kind of go from there. So.
Yeah, we'll see.
Best of luck to all my Atlanta fans. Ugly.
Chandler Jones, real quick. I want to get a quick reaction out of you. Chandler Jones, bicep injury, done for the season. How big of a deal, on a scale of 1 to 10, how big of a deal is that for the Arizona Cardinals?
Well, I think it's huge. I mean, we've talked about him being one of the elite pass rushers in the league. You can put him up there with some of the most productive players in the league. The odd thing about Jones is that he never struck me in watching him like really passing the eye test, like a dominant player. But he
never seen him take over games.
Yeah, like he never took over a game. He never came up with a huge play that I've seen. I've never watched highlights of an Arizona game and thought, wow, Chandler Jones, he was a difference maker today. And yet he always ends up seemingly very productive by the end of the year. So I don't know whether he's getting sacks at times that, aren't as important, or if he's getting, coverage sack. I don't know what exactly is going on there with him, but he never has ever at any point in his career struck me as someone that's just absolutely dominating a game. And maybe that's, to my detriment. Maybe I haven't seen that personally out of him. But what are your thoughts there?
I don't think it's really that big of a deal. And don't get me wrong, Chandler Jones is a hell of a player. And I just don't like this Cardinals team. I don't know about them no more. They just blew out the Jets, obviously. But something about Kyler, man. It's something about him as electrifying as he is, and as fun as he is to watch. It just seemed like he just does, for lack of a better phrase, he just does a lot of stupid shit. And I think it puts his team in bad positions, and I think it's going to hurt him for this season and in the long run, where they're still in this division. They can still win this thing, or at least get a playoff spot, but I feel like that once they start going against these elite teams, like they still got to play Seattle, they still got to play LA, they still got to play San Fran. It's like, again, they're the pushover team. I can see them just kind of slipping. And I hate to say it because I really like that. I really like Kyler and I really like that offense, but I don't know. Like, and then on top of that, with the rookie they drafted, Simmons, like he hasn't been on the field at all. So that's been kind of interesting. I don't know, man. It just seems like there might be a little bit of like turmoil brewing in AZ. And I haven't read nothing or heard nothing about it. Just kind of just looking from the outside in. But that's just my kind of thoughts on that one there.
Okay. I can kind of dig it. I've been watching a little bit more of Kyler Murray. He's got kind of a weird throwing motion too. He kind of, puts the ball across his entire body as he's throwing. I don't know if you've seen that at all. He almost, and it's true.
Is it like he's throwing a baseball?
Yeah. He was a great baseball player, obviously. And he does have a very weird, especially on his deep balls. You throw, it looks like he's almost like an outfielder throwing to home plate, right?
Yeah.
Kind of puts his whole body into the throw. So it's a little bit interesting. Kind of takes his eye off the target a little bit. That might hinder his accuracy in the long run. But I called it at the beginning of the season. I said, this is a very interesting team. They're a very fun team to watch. I mean, Kyler Murray threw for 380 yards last week on the obviously beleaguered Jets there. But I don't know. They don't strike me as like a playoff team. And to the point where you said it doesn't matter, you're probably right. It's probably immaterial, despite the fact that he's a great player and would obviously help them. I don't think with him or without him, they would have made the playoffs this year. So you're probably in an end-all be-all fashion correct there.
How about that injury to Dak, man? Like, out of anybody I feel terrible for, like, it